Welcome to Doctors on Call. I'm Jenna Miller. What can you do when your doctor says everything checks out fine, but you still don't feel right? The market for dietary supplements, vitamins, minerals, botanicals, herbs, and other products promoted as ways to help you feel better, perform better, sleep better, and stay healthy is booming. What tools does a person need to make better lifestyle choices? We'll tackle these issues and more on our Doctors on Call with our guests, Dr. Dustin Moffitt and Jessica Moffitt.
Presentation of Doctors on Call on Smoky Hills PBS is made possible in part by an underwriting grant from
Russell Regional Hospital, experts, neighbors, friends.
Our team at Smith County Memorial Hospital is always striving to exceed expectations of our patients and guests. Your family is our family.
Dr. Dustin Moffitt is a naturopathic doctor. His areas of expertise include performance health, bioidentical hormones, sports medicine, athletic performance, pain, chronic illness, and weight loss. Dr. Moffitt strives to get to know each of his patients and works to treat the whole patient to address each symptom. Dr. Moffitt is a graduate from the National College of Natural Medicine, now known as National University of Natural Medicine in Portland, Oregon. Prior to medical school, he received his Bachelor's of General Studies in Chemistry with a minor in Biology, Physics, and Sociology from Wichita State University in Wichita, Kansas. Dr. Moffitt has done rotations in physical medicine, minor surgery, regenerative medicine, primary care, gastroenterology, pediatrics, community health, cardiology, pulmonology, as well as men's and women's health. His approach is effective for improving the outcome of your performance, pain, chronic health conditions, or anything that has not responded well to typical treatments. Dr. Moffitt's specialties and certifications include regenerative injection therapies, advanced bioidentical hormone thyroid management, and advanced IV nutrition. Dr. Moffitt has been a leading specialist in the field of regenerative medicine, including dextrose prolotherapy, platelet-rich plasma therapy, and prolozone. He is on the Scientific and Medical Advisory Board for a renowned regenerative bioceutical company, as well as the Vice President of the Kansas Naturopathic Doctors Association. Dr. Moffitt offers services exclusively with Prospectively Healthy and Wellness Clinic at both locations in Hayes and Oakley. Jessica Moffitt received her Bachelor's of Science in Physical Activity and Exercise from Portland State University and became a Certified Health Education Specialist in 2016. In 2021, she transitioned to full-time, offering health and wellness coaching as well as business development services through Prospectively Healthy. Jessica offers services such as wellness coaching for integrating health, cooking lessons, assistance with meal preparation, and grocery shopping assistance. She offers services in person and online, and her certifications are recognized in all 50 states. Jessica offers services both virtually and in person exclusively with Prospectively Healthy and Wellness Clinic in Hayes. Doctors on Call brings you information which may be useful to you when you see your own physician. Thank you guys so much for coming back. Welcome back. And before we get diving into some of our questions, I'd really like to talk about congratulations first on your new office in Hayes. Let's talk about how Prospectively Healthy was birthed.
So it started back in 2012 for me, where it was kind of a vision, the perspective of health, to attain it, to reach for something that was theoretically unattainable or takes lots of thoughts and pattern to kind of get to that place. And, at that time it was just kind of a brainchild, and for many years while I was an employee for other organizations, it kind of sat back burner, and that's where Jess kind of took it over and mostly turned it into nutritional analyses and guidance and workout routines. And now, within this last year, it's really kind of divulged into a full clinic operation as well as underlying nutrition. And so our new clinic has the IV lounge. It has all your typical treatment plans that you'd see at a doctor's office, plus other rentable spaces, as well as including her studio where she does her nutrition and coaching out of.
Now, was this kind of always the goal? As a married couple, did you think we kind of want to do this? Did you take any detours, I guess, along the way?
Yeah, I mean, Kind of. It was an end goal. We didn't know when, how, where, why. The choice was kind of made for us. So here we are advancing into that and just accepting where it is. It's pretty cool. You know, it was a nervous kind of thing to go forward and be there with your wife the whole time. But this last year has been a very expansive year to many aspects.
Excellent. Now let's talk about some of the most common complaints you get that come into your office.
The most common complaint that I would say I see is that I've been to my doctor, they told me everything's normal and I just don't feel well. So when you're told that everything's normal and you don't, but yet at the same time you don't feel well, you don't feel heard. So the biggest thing that I would say that we see is that patients want to just be heard and respected in what their main guidance is. And that's what I try to do, is just be an ear for that.
Sure. And then where do you come in that equation?
Yeah, so, you know, the nice component that we have with Prospectively Healthy and Wellness Clinic is a multifaceted approach, right? So when Dr. Moffitt is seeing his patients, he's looking at functional values, he's looking at toxicities, and he's looking at underlying symptoms and correlations and the way that he can map those out and addressing them therapeutically. And then when I see patients and clients on the opposite side, we're taking big picture lifestyle and helping transition as a support system, right? So that they can continue the health that Dr. Moffitt and them create and carry it on their own for, you know, the rest of their lives, whether it be healthy relationships with food, healthy eating, financially sustainable options for grocery shopping, gym workouts, exercises, and really getting to use their body to the fullest. So.
Sure. And you mentioned toxicities. Let's talk a little bit about that a little deeper and what you do. You know, I think the air we breathe is toxic, and how do we get our bodies out of that?
So we offer a number of different services in regard to that, whether it be nutritional guidance. Obviously diet and lifestyle go a long way to help aiding in those toxicities. However, you know, like heavy metal toxicities is one that I quite often see. We have a chelation service that we do. It's an IV treatment, but sometimes there can be oral therapy that goes with that. I am a certified specialist in oxidative therapies. So we have several different layers of that oxidative therapy. We're major autohemotherapy, ultraviolet blood irradiation, extracorporeal blood ozonation and oxygenation, goes by EBU for short. And those essentially are a big whammy to kind of get the immune system going, kickstart things, reduce inflammation, and aid in detoxification. One of my key therapies that I love to administer is an oxidative therapy followed by the chelation therapy, because the chelation therapy not only helps bind toxins and boost the detoxification pathways of the body, it also is a biofilm breaker, and biofilm is basically a shield that bacteria, viruses, and mold and fungal spores put around themselves to protect themselves from our immune system.
And once a person detoxes, how do they stay in a state of a detox, I guess, you know, or remain detoxified, I guess?
So the way that they would stay detoxified, obviously just, sorry. Yeah. So the way that they would stay detoxified is basically, you know, improving lifestyle things and reducing exposures, filter your drinking water. That's one of the best things that I could give leeway to anybody. Reduce the amount of toxic stuff that we're eating. So a lot of that prepackaged stuff, it's not good for us. Just stick to your basic foods like your fruits, veggies, meats, your animal products, then your typical breads or anything. Stay away from all the other, you know, packaged items. And then in regards for the rest of the detoxification, get some sunshine. I mean, sun helps to aid in that. That's free, right? We can go outside for that. Drink plenty of clean water can help. And then there's all kinds of herbal supplements that we can look at for doing that if you're not ready for IV treatments or anything like that. I think I kind of got sidetracked, but...
Yeah, sure, no. And, you know, on your end, you had mentioned you help with grocery shopping. Let's talk about that, how you take your clients out and help them.
So it's kind of the same concept, right? Like, So I think health is a spectrum. I tell people from 0 to 100. 0 being a rock that doesn't eat or sleep or breathe. Obviously, we're all past that. 100 being a unicorn, right? And none of us are spitting glitter yet, so we're not there. So I help my clients figure out where they're at and then how we can get them closer to being a unicorn, whatever their goal is. And a lot of the times it's by helping replace things that are causing harm to the body, such as toxins. And grocery shopping is a big piece. We also talk about things like beauty products and makeup and, deodorant and bathroom and cleaning chemicals in the house, if that's what people want to talk about. But groceries is a big one, sticking to the outer perimeters of the grocery store, looking for things that are whole in nature versus prepackaged and ready to go. And then if convenience foods is a requirement for their lifestyle, helping them pick better options within those convenience foods. I'm not against a boxed meal or prepackaged, ready to go, help me out when we need it for our family. We've got 2 little ones. We understand that sometimes life's just crazy and you don't have time to make crackers from scratch. Helping them look at ingredients labels and find brands that are trusted, that are free from some of those toxins that we want to avoid, so that they're not undoing the work that they're doing with Doc.
Sure. And do you actually accompany your clients to the grocery store?
I have definitely had more than one phone call from a grocery store from a client. Generally speaking, I don't go to the grocery store. Instead, what we do is we do our discovery session, which is that initial figure out where you are, where you want to be, make a plan to get there, and then we talk about things that they can do. And they actually bring to me their normal grocery list, and each week we take a couple of things, like, this is the peanut butter that you have. When this peanut butter is all gone, we're going to switch it out for something different. Look for this peanut butter instead. And I'll print a list for them. I do walk clients through grocery shopping online with Dillon's and Walmart, so we can do that in my office, and then they can do a click list. They can go pick it up. You can wear your slippers. You can bring your cup of hot coffee. It's really convenient. I love it. But I don't actually go to the grocery store, although, like I said, I've definitely answered my fair share of phone calls when people can't find, liquid aminos or whatever the case is that they're trying to find. So.
Wonderful. Good to know. All right. Well, we're going to head to the phone lines now. We've got Melissa on the line from Colby. Go ahead, Melissa. You're live on Doctors on Call.
Hi. I actually have 2 questions. One being if you accept any kind of insurance, and then the other, once somebody comes to you, do they normally, your clients come on a regular basis, like every 8 weeks do you see somebody, or every 6 months, or how does that normally work?
Yeah, I answer the phones, I don't mind. So we don't accept insurance. We do accept health savings cards and flex spending, but it's all cash pay. The convenient thing about that is you know exactly what you're paying, and there's no middleman prices for you to have to worry about filtering and paying. So what you see is what you get. We don't have very many packages, and I think that's surprising to some patients. They want a very specific list. But the nice thing is after your first appointment, your new patient appointment, whether you're seeing myself for a discovery session or seeing Doc for a new patient appointment, you get that list. You get a very specific treatment plan that's tailored to you. Once we have a game plan and things are rolling and moving in the right direction, I tell my clients to be prepared to break up with me. I know it's coming. I'm expecting it. At some point, you're going to call me and you're going to say, I no longer need your services. I've got this figured out. I'm breaking up with you. I'm sad that we're breaking up, but I absolutely love when my clients get to that point. For Doc, sometimes it's just 1 to 2 visits a year. When we're looking at IVs, we have wellness IVs. So sometimes it's just, hey, I feel really great, but I'm ready to go on vacation. Can you help me give a nice big boost to my immune system? Or I'm a college student and finals are coming up, and I just want to make sure that my body has the best chance of being prepared and cognitive function and sleep. So sometimes it's wellness, and sometimes it's once or twice a year. Once you've gotten all of the legwork done at the beginning.
Anything to add to that, Doc?
It's just going to vary case to case. The insurance pay, so the way that I like to say it is most of the time your insurance is based for sick care rather than health care. They don't like to pay for the preventative maintenance type stuff or things that we're trying to go after. Chronic illness, where they really leave a lot of that shortfall. It's not all cases, it just really depends. But generally, when you're sick, when you've got a flu, when you're cold, pneumonia, that is really where your insurance picks up. Or if you've had an urgent accident, that's where they would step in. For recall, it's going to be, like she said, anywhere from maybe 1 to 3 visits a year on average. Obviously, if there's a lot more going on, we might want to see you every month or every 2 months, but generally, most of my patients I see every 6 months.
Excellent. And you had mentioned the health savings cards. Can you tell us how that works?
Yes. So because we're a medical office, the services that we offer, they come with diagnoses codes and CPT codes, which are clinical procedural treatment codes that are recognized by insurance companies. So people can elect for health savings cards, or they can go out on their own and they can start their own personal health savings account that they can contribute to and reimburse for their health expenses out of. And we can use that. It's pre-tax money. It's a really wonderful financial benefit for patients, and they can use that just like they would a debit card in our office. They get an itemized receipt that says exactly what they were in for, and it covers things like IV services, supplements, office visits, and my nutrition coaching as well.
Okay, great to know. So can you give an example of a traditional workup versus a naturopathic workup for, say, something like a thyroid?
Yeah, we were kind of talking about that on the way here. Thyroid is probably the biggest one where there's a very big shortfall. So the majority of docs are only looking at TSH, which really is not a thyroid marker. It's a brain marker. It's a brain signal to your thyroid to turn on the thyroid. So yeah, we may look at it and see if there's a high TSH. That means you're a low thyroid function, but it doesn't show any of the output of the thyroid. So most docs are not looking at free T4, free T3, reverse T3, thyroid antibodies to see if your body is self-attacking it. So there's no regulation. There's also a lot of underlying nutrient deficiencies that can be associated with it. Like vitamin D is one that heavily regulates the immune system. So if you are a chronically ill patient and you've got chronically low vitamin D alone has proven all-case lowering reduction of all-cause mortality. So just by improving vitamin D alone, and that doesn't mean vitamin D is the end-all, cure-all of vitamins. Matter of fact, it's actually a pro-hormone than a vitamin.
Interesting. And you've mentioned vitamin D before. Right now, it's kind of a difficult time to get outside and get plenty of sunshine. When do supplements, does a person during the winter months maybe need to take a little bit more than they would in the summer? How does that work?
The majority of patients, yes, will need to increase the vitamin D throughout the lower sun exposure, and it doesn't necessarily mean where it is in the sky. I mean, when it's cold, what do? We cover up. So, it takes about a 10 to 20 minute exposure of about 70% of the skin to truly get that conversion to vitamin D. And even in the nice summer months, it's very rare that we see 70% of the skin exposed to the sun, right? So even all year round, we will often, when we test that vitamin D level, we're going to see a low vitamin D status. So an optimal vitamin D is about 50 to 90 for the typical person, where, your typical insurance company is going to look at 30 and above is normal, which, like I said, in the functional world, we're calling 50 and above normal. And that's based on optimal function of the cells.
Sure. Okay, let's talk about your primary patient demographic. Do you see people of all ages? How does that work?
Yeah, so all ages, shapes, sizes, whatever it is, male, female. But we were kind of speaking to this. My main patient demographics that I see are in the areas that I specialize. So in hormone replacement therapy, thyroid management, regenerative injections for platelet-rich plasma or prolotherapy or prolozone. I'm certified in numerous types of IVs, specifically the chelation therapies, high nutrient clinical strength therapies, as well as those oxidative therapies.
Sure. What about you, Jessica?
Again, I will work with anyone. I have worked with, obviously my kids are probably my favorite clients to work with. They test out every single recipe and meal plan that we've got. But really, once children start to grasp the idea of creating a healthy relationship with food, especially when parents are concerned that they're not gaining enough weight, or that they're gaining weight faster than their peers, that's a perfect time to start talking about healthy relationships with food. That's the perfect time to start talking about hunger cues and satiety cues and chemical happiness that we get from foods versus the way that we can get it naturally, outside of the kitchen. But a lot of my clients are in that 35 to 65 drastic shift, postpartum, finally time to start taking care of mom. Menopausal, postmenopausal, we see another huge shift in our weight. And husbands, it never ceases to amaze me how many husbands are on the line with their wives, ready to support their wives, that they will do the meal plans with their wives, they will do the recipes, they will do the shopping, and they're seeing phenomenal results. My stepdad's one of my most favorite clients as far as success stories. He cut his thyroid and diabetic markers in half in the first 8 weeks of following the nutrition coaching that him and my mom and I did together, and lost over 30 pounds. So I love to see absolutely everyone, but really anybody that can look at food and say, I don't have a healthy relationship with that, you're my gal, you're my dude, let's do it.
Okay. Now, what about labs? Are they required for your office? Do you take them at your office? How do labs work?
Yeah, well, so taking them at my office, I'd assume you mean in regards to, hey, I went to my other doc, they looked at these, they said I'm normal. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll go back over them with a second opinion, and I always call it a fine-tooth comb. So even though there's a large reference range that says you're normal, there's optimal ranges that fall within a very tight range that will tell us whether or not there's underlying indicators of something else not going right in your body. Are labs required? No. Do they help? Absolutely. So the way to test is to actually beat around guessing. So when we have a numerical value that we can use as a tracking marker for treatment success, oftentimes it can help. But as a test, the only thing that matters, no. Symptoms, the patient's story, their background, things that they've done before that have failed or that they've tried and have noticed benefit, I take all of that in factor when I'm making up a treatment plan to know which way to truly go down. And, there are times I don't get it right the first time, but I'm a doc that I listen. I'm here to listen if we've tried this treatment plan and even it was my suggestion and you're not feeling better, we can reiterate and try a different avenue if it's not gone the right way.
Are there ways, especially right now, we're in the midst of cold and flu season, are there ways that you can suggest or help your patients to avoid catching infectious diseases?
Yeah, just don't reach out for them. No.
Don't look your neighbor.
Always stimulating your immune system. During the flu and cold season, it's best to start some nutrient repletion, whether it be vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, looking at botanical products like echinacea, golden seal. Those things are things that you can add on, but looking at specifics is going to depend on what all you're exposed to. Are you in a hospital setting? Are you exposed to kids consistently? Kids are great carriers, and they're exposed to many different things, so they bring home quite a few. I'm a little raspy today, but it's because I got wind whipped when I was out in the Saturday nasty weather and kind of caught a toll. But I've been stimulating my immune system with my own protocols that I go. So
sure. And does it help to stimulate your immune system year-round rather than just kind of wait for that cold and flu season to hit?
It's always best to be preventive. So if you know you're going to travel, start a regimen a few days before, just as if you were in flu and cold season. But yeah, it just depends.
And we have supplements in our office. You don't have to be a patient for that. You can come in and just purchase on the shelf. But our pH Well Biotic is one of my favorites. It's a nice herbal blend of immune boosting supplements. We have vitamin D on the shelf that's got our logo on the label, which is pretty crazy to say, but I love that. We've got a really nice probiotic as well, so helping give the body the chance to help fight foreign invaders, bacteria, etc. And good gut health is just as important as well. And then those IVs pull into play as well. So clients come in, they feel great, they're doing great, but they're getting ready to travel. They know cold and flu season. We have some clients that come in like clockwork. They get sick the week before Thanksgiving every single year. Come in and get some wellness IVs that are meant to boost your immune system. Talk to doc, get on a supplement regimen, talk to me, whole foods, get some good soups. I think soups are probably the easiest way to hide vegetables. Spaghetti sauce is another favorite. And get those nutrients in prior to being sick so that you've got the best chance of fighting it if you do get exposed. And don't lick your neighbor.
Okay. Thank you both, Dr. Moffitt and Jessica, for being our guests tonight on Doctors on Call. On our next Doctors on Call, we'll be discussing chiropractic care. You can also email questions for our next program. That address is doctors@shptv.org. Thank you for joining us for Doctors on Call. I'm Jenna Miller.
Presentation of Doctors on Call on Smoky Hills PBS is made possible in part by an underwriting grant from
Russell Regional Hospital. Experts, neighbors, friends.
Our team at Smith County Memorial Hospital is always striving to exceed expectations of our patients and guests. Your family is our family.